Now, you might be thinking, even though we're a few weeks away from the official release of Netflix's live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender, we got an amazing official trailer, new still images look promising, and the cast look very true to the animated show. So, what's the problem then? Well, over the past few days, the fandom of Avatar: The Last Airbender has gone mad regarding some of the latest changes coming to the show. Fans are arguing with one another regarding who's right and wrong, while others are saying the show isn't even out yet, so why are you even judging it without even seeing it first? Which I agree. There were several arguments revolving around that, along with some of the comments that the cast made. The most notable one that you perhaps saw in every headline on social media was Sokka's sexism element is either being removed or toned down for the show, which has put every social media at an uproar, causing some fans to already bash the live action without even seeing it first. So yeah, we're at that stage now where fans are disrespecting one another, calling each other out, and whatnot, all due to some comments that the cast and the showrunner made, which has put everyone in a frenzy of worry. But no worries, cause your boy here will go over all that with you in today's video and hopefully calm y'all down just a little bit. So welcome to Creative Caution, I'm your host Aladdin. In today's video, we'll go over all the latest controversial comments regarding the changes to the show, some comments from the cast and Albert Kim, the new still images of the gang, along with going over the latest introduction videos of Sokka, Zuko, and Bumi. Before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. It helps the channel grow and lets others like you stay tuned with the latest shows and movies. And also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can get notified right away when I drop my next video. Now lastly, I just want to announce that I will be doing a $20 gift card giveaway once we hit 20,000 subscribers. All you gotta do to participate is be a subscriber, like the video, and leave a comment discussing anything that you liked about the video, and that's it. Once we hit our goal of 20,000 subscribers, I'll pick the winner in whatever most recent video I have out, so good luck to everyone. Now in my last video, I went over the introduction videos for Aang and Katara, so if you want to check out what I said about those two, I'll leave a link at the top right here, along with one in the description, so you can watch it later or right after this video. But for now, we'll just start with the video introductions for Sokka, Zuko, and Bumi, and then go from there. First up, we'll start with Sokka. Now it seems like Sokka's having a conversation with the Mechanist here. Might even be in the Mechanist chamber, and even get a little glimpse of one of his inventions dangling on the right there. A new change coming to the show is that we'll be seeing the Mechanist and his son Theo way sooner rather than later. Unlike in the animated show where we met them in the last half of the first season, we'll be meeting them in the first couple of episodes, specifically at Amashu. Since we've already been teased in the trailer of Theo and Aang flying around, along with getting our first look at one of the failed experiments from the Mechanist with his explosion at Amashu. So it'll be interesting to see why the Mechanist and his son are at Amashu instead of the Northern Air Temple like in the animated show. We hear some dialogue in the back where the Mechanist is telling Sokka, it's not always easy to find your path in life, but when you find it, you must embrace it. This sounds like some sort of foreshadowing for Sokka. Either the Mechanist is trying to provide him some wisdom in embracing change, or maybe even letting him know that it's okay if you're lost now. Finding yourself is a journey, so you don't need to know everything right away. Kinda giving me vibes of Iroh here with the wisdom talk. We get another scene of Sokka, which looks like it's the first still image of him that we got a while back ago when we got our first look at the characters. It seems like that he's standing outside the gate of the Southern Water Tribe, which looks like he's about to confront Zuko and his men here. Since we know that this will be the scene where Zuko arrives at the Southern Water Tribe to confront the folks there in hopes of finding Aang. Also, if you look through the gate, we can see some of the tribe members standing around there, along with what looks like Katara right there in the middle. We know all the men of the tribe are out fighting against the Fire Nation, so it's kind of funny just seeing Sokka being the only one here holding down the fort for his people and whatnot. Overall, the new scenes of Sokka look nice and all, and I'm glad that we're getting new scenes of him as well, but I'll talk a little bit more about Sokka and the controversy around his character later in the video. Next up, we got Zuko. Now the video starts with some old footage that we've seen before. However, this next shot is a new one where Zuko and his men arrive at the Southern Water Tribe. We hear Zuko in the background saying, "My father has banished me until I find the Avatar, and that's exactly what I'll do." It looks like this might be a scene where he's having a conversation with Iroh. If you look closely to the right, you can see Iroh's hair there as well. Something that I want to point out before I get to the next scene is that I like how Dallas captures the tone and attitude of Zuko from the first season. He has that annoying voice to him, along with the determination to find the Avatar no matter at what cost. Next scene, we hear him talking to Iroh once again saying, "For 3 years, I've chased down every hint, every rumor, every whisper of the Avatar. I will find him." We see some more scenes that we've already seen in the trailer, but the one scene that I think captured Dallas as Zuko was this one right here. His whole demeanor, attitude, fierce devotion, and setstone mentality captures Zuko's identity here. I might be analyzing too much into this right now, but for now, I just think he's doing a good job at capturing Zuko's mentality of season 1. Next Next up, we have Bumi. Now, Bumi doesn't necessarily have any new scenes here. However, we have this new still image of him in full glory and he looks amazing. Bumi is around 100 years old in the cartoon show, so the fact that the live action managed to make his appearance somewhat believable is incredible. I'll be honest, I had no idea how they'd capture Bumi since he was such an old character in the show, but seeing it in this version, I'm convinced that this could work. His outfit looks good, his intense messy hair looks on point, and those damn armpit hair are atrocious but in a good way. Even the background set looks amazing. Overall, Bumi looks very promising. His oddly weird look, his gigantic armpit hair, and his overall vibe just scream Bumi. Let me know what you guys think about Bumi here. Now, we also have 6 new images of some of the characters here, so I'll briefly go over them as well and just give some context on where the images might be and what might be going on in them. The first one we have is the gang. It looks like they're in the Mechanist room either for the first time or they're listening to one of the new experiments that he plans on doing. We even see some of his inventions in the background, and the room does feel like it fits the vibe of the Mechanist as well. What I like about this image the most is that Aang looks interested in what the Mechanist has to say, and you can even see it in his eyes too. This scene will most likely take place when the gang arrives at Omashu. Maybe later in the episode we'll see this scene. Next up, we got Zuko and Iroh, which looks like they're in Zuko's room once again. It looks like the two are either examining where Aang might be going next, since we do know that Zuko has been tracking down Aang's whereabouts, and we even seen this in the trailer where he puts an image of Aang on his wall. We also see this dragon scale pattern on the wall, which seems to be a prominent piece in most of the Fire Nation costumes. For example, we even see it on Zuko's outfit right now, so this might be a key fashion element for all the Fire Nation soldiers and whatnot. Next, we got Azula and Ozai, which might be in the throne room here. This scene might be taking place when the two learn about Aang's presence, along with the news that Zuko and Iroh are chasing him down. What I would like is if they gave us new scenes with Azula and Ozai, either strategizing what they're gonna do with Aang or showcasing how Ozai favors Azula and disciplines her into being who she is right now. I want to see moments like that where Azula is trying her best to please her father so she doesn't end up like her brother Zuko. I think that would showcase to new fans why Azula acts the way that she does and why she craves her father's approval so much. Next up, we see Sokka and Suki doing some training together. This might be a scene later in the episode where Sokka's asking Suki to train him, since she obviously has more experience than him when it comes to fighting and all. Next, we got another image of Aang reading, which might be taking place at the Scorched Forest, just because it does look like that's the Heibai spirit in the back there. I don't know what Aang's reading there, so if you have any clue, let me know in the comments below. Lastly, we got Jet and Katara. Both of them look great, and it even looks like Katara is already crushing on him. However, this scene most likely takes place when the gang gets held up by some Fire Nation soldiers, and Jet and his crew come in for the rescue. Overall, I think the show got Jet's look down really well, and I like the color palette for his costume. Resembles a lot to the animated show, which I'm happy to see. Now, those are all the latest images that we have so far. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite image is and why. Alright, now the cast did this huge interview with Entertainment Weekly where they discussed several topics, whether it being on the cover of the latest EW magazine, or how they got cast for the roles, or the new changes coming to their characters and the show. This interview had a ton of valuable information in it. However, for the sake of time, I just want to go over some of the major key points in this interview, such as the cast talking about their characters, as well as Kim discussing all the things that he changed in Avatar. If you want to read the full interview, I'll leave a link in the description so you can read it after this video. But now, Ian and Dallas would open up about how they got into character. Dallas, who's playing Zuko, would go on by saying, "I certainly wanted to tap into Zuko's physicality in the animation. I just thought it was so perfect for the banished prince to be on edge all the time, stiff and physically fit. But actually, I think I'm quite lucky because I have Dante Bosco's performance with his emotional range in the series to pick what I like and what to stay away from. It was such a rewarding feeling to see how supportive he was of the decisions that I made for the role. He was absolutely cheering me on and wanting me to make it my own. I'm excited to see how Dallas performs as Zuko. So far, he has the look, attitude, and demeanor of Season 1 Zuko, and I quite like how he's picking certain aspects from Dante's version of Zuko and incorporating them into his own version. That shouldn't be an issue, honestly. It'll be a completely different take on the character, but I just hope Dallas doesn't drift off too much from who Zuko is in Season 1. Now, Ian would also chip in some thoughts regarding his character. He said, "I wanted to make sure that Sokka is funny. There's more weight with realism in every way. If anything, I think Ian can also capture Sokka's humor and that goofy trait as long as he's not trying too hard, because if that's the case, it'll easily be noticeable on screen that he's trying to force some sort of humor from his character. But right now, I do think that Ian is a good fit to play Sokka. I'm simply backing this up with the interviews that I've seen him in so far. He's displayed that he can deliver a joke without making it sound cringy, along with having that tone of Sokka in some of his one-liners. Now, here's where the controversy starts with his character that's put every news tabloid on edge. As Ian was describing his character, character, Guy Wendia, who's playing Katara, would mention in the interview how they would take out Sokka's sexism from the show. She said, "I feel like we also took out the element of how sexist Sokka was. I feel like there were a lot of moments in the original show that were iffy." Alright, here's my defense on this. First, we have to remember that these are young actors just describing their characters. They're simply describing what they think of the characters since they're playing them in the show. So when we hear Guy Wendia say that they took out Sokka's sexist element, I don't think that she was referring to that they eliminated it completely. Most likely in this case, she perhaps just didn't articulate it in the way that she intended to, like in her mind, is my guess at least. Remember, they're just young kids talking about their characters. She probably was just trying to explain how they toned it down for the live action. So we'll still see Sokka's sexist remarks in the show, but they won't be as animated as in the cartoon one. Second, we have to also take into consideration how Sokka's sexist comments would be transitioned into a live action. If he came into this live action the same way that he came into the animated one, it wouldn't work, simply due to the fact that the two mediums are completely different. One is an animated version where you're able to express the character in a more ambiguous way, having them open to new interpretations, while the other one is a live action where you have to tone the character down a bit so it makes sense and flows well with the overall performance. You could still showcase Sokka's sexist element in the live action, but it has to make sense in how it's being performed and not just throwing it out there just because Sokka believes girls are better at fixing pants than guys and guys are better at hunting and fighting. I just think that fans have blown this whole thing out of proportion. I'm certain that we will see Sokka's sexist remarks, but it won't be displayed the same way as in the animated show in this live action. It'll most likely be shown in a completely new way, which will make more sense for a drama, as Albert Kim has been stating these past few weeks. But let me know what you guys think. Remember, you can voice your opinion without insulting others. At the end of the day, it's just a show for pure entertainment, so relax a bit, guys. Don't take it too seriously if someone has a different viewpoint or opinion on the matter. Okay, finally, I just want to go over the last statement that Kim did with IGN, where the interviewer asked him, "A big question surrounding the show is how much are you guys changing and how much is staying the same? How much freedom did you feel when it came to remixing the storylines and putting your own spin and liberties on them?" Kim would reply with, "I've used the term that this is a remix, not a cover, in that you've got to hit a lot of familiar notes, but you can't forget that this is supposed to be a new song. So obviously there are story points and characters that you have to do fairly faithful from the original, but at the same time you're literally translating something from 2D to 3D, and that meant dimensionalizing the story, taking it into new places, filling in some of the gaps. There are certain scenes that you never saw in the original, whether it's the attack on the Southern Air Temple or the Agni Kai between Ozai and Zuko, and those are the things that I knew we needed to see in order to make it feel much more grounded as a live action show. I think I've stated this several times, and I'm glad that this isn't a 1-1 adaptation of the animated show. The fact that we'll see the Air Nomads going against the Fire Nation along with seeing Ozai and Zuko's Agni Kai is a great example of new change. Those two events weren't seen in the animated show, and that's what's gonna set it apart from the cartoon one to the live action. They're explaining in detail that the live action isn't ripping off the OG series. They're simply paying homage to it, but also adding new original scenes that weren't ever seen in the animated one, which is ultimately a win-win for everyone. But that's just my opinion on that. Let me know what you think about Albert Kim's comments and if you agree with them or not. But that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know what you all thought about today's video and whether you agree with some of the statements from the cast and the showrunner. I'll be making way more Avatar content as the show nears its release, so any new news or trailers that come out, I'll have all that covered here, along with breaking down each episode and giving my take on how it did compared to the animated show. So definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of this. But before I go, don't forget about that $20 gift card giveaway that I'll be doing once we hit 20,000 subscribers. All you gotta do to participate is be a subscriber, like the video, and leave a comment discussing anything that you liked about the video. Once we hit 20,000 subscribers, I'll pick the winner in whatever most recent video I have out, so good luck to everyone. Finally, I just want to say thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't by now. Also, hit that notification bell so you can get notified right away when I drop my next video. Thank you all once more, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.